My name is Emma Carter, and I never imagined that a simple idea I scribbled in my notebook one rainy Sunday afternoon would change the course of my life and the lives of people around me. It all began with a challenge, a personal challenge that slowly grew into something far greater than I had ever dreamed. It was late spring in Maplewood, our small town tucked between rolling hills and quiet lakes. Life here was slow, predictable, and in many ways comforting. But I often felt like something was missing. At 29, I worked as a graphic designer for a local marketing firm. My job was fine, stable, creative at times, but I longed for a spark of excitement, a sense of purpose beyond deadlines and digital screens. One day, while scrolling through my phone, I came across an article about personal challenges, small commitments people set for themselves, like running every morning, journaling daily, or cutting out sugar. The idea struck me as both simple and powerful. What if, instead of just me taking on a challenge, I invited others to join me? Maybe together, we could hold each other accountable and encourage one another. That night, I sat at my kitchen table, a mug of chamomile tea by my side, and wrote in my journal, 30 Days of Positivity Challenge. Do one positive thing each day, big or small, and share it. It sounded simple enough. The next day, I posted about it on my social media. I honestly didn't expect much. Maybe a handful of friends would like the post, and perhaps one or two would join me. But by the following morning, over 30 people had commented with excitement, curiosity, and even gratitude. My best friend, Sarah, was the first to send me a message. Emma, I'm in. I've been needing something like this. Count me in. Soon after, Mark, my quiet neighbor who worked at the library, knocked on my door. He looked a little shy, but determined. I saw your post. I'd like to join too. I think it could help me. By the end of that week, there were more than 50 people who had committed to the challenge. It wasn't just friends anymore, it was coworkers, neighbors, distant acquaintances, and even strangers who had seen the post shared by others. We created a small online group where participants could share their daily positive acts. Some were simple, writing a kind note to a colleague, cooking a meal for a family member, or smiling at strangers. Others were bigger, volunteering at the food bank, organizing a park cleanup, or donating to charity. What surprised me most wasn't the number of people who joined, but the depth of their stories. Sarah, who had been struggling with anxiety after a tough breakup, wrote on day 5. Today I wrote myself a letter reminding me of all the things I've survived. For the first time in months, I felt proud of myself. Mark shared on day 7. I read aloud to kids at the library today. Their laughter was contagious. I walked home smiling. Even people I barely knew were opening up. One woman, Claire, admitted that she hadn't spoken to her estranged sister in years. On day 10, she called her, and they spent hours reconnecting. The challenge became more than just a daily task, it became a lifeline. For me too. I began waking up each morning with excitement, wondering what small act of positivity I could bring into the world. Some days it was baking muffins for my coworkers. Other days it was leaving anonymous sticky notes with encouraging words on public benches. Slowly, the habit reshaped my outlook on life. By the second week, the group decided to meet in person. We gathered at the town's community center, a modest hall with wooden floors and the faint smell of fresh paint. I expected maybe a dozen people to show up. Instead, nearly 40 came. There was laughter, nervous introductions, and an incredible sense of unity. For 2 hours, we shared stories, cheered each other on, and brainstormed bigger ways to spread kindness. Someone suggested a town-wide food drive. Another proposed a community mural with positive quotes. By the end of the night, our challenge had grown into a movement. As the days passed, the ripple effect spread further. The local newspaper caught wind of our project and featured us in a weekend column titled Maplewood's Positivity Challenge, Small Acts, Big Impact. The article drew even more participants, students from the high school, parents, even elderly residents who wanted to contribute in their own ways. One elderly man, Mr. Harris, wrote in our group, I don't get out much anymore, but I've started calling one old friend a day just to say hello. I forgot how good it feels to reconnect. That message brought me to tears. It reminded me that positivity wasn't about grand gestures, it was about human connection. By day 20, the challenge had transformed Maplewood. The grocery store had a bulletin board filled with handwritten thank you notes. The local cafe started offering a kindness discount, where if you told the barista something kind, you got a free cookie. The park was cleaner than it had been in years, thanks to groups of volunteers. But perhaps the most touching moment came on day 25. Sarah, my best friend, pulled me aside. Her eyes were glassy, but her smile was genuine. Emma, I didn't realize how much I needed this. I've been healing. For the first time, I feel like myself again. It hit me then. What had started as a small challenge for myself had become a bridge for others to heal, grow, and rediscover hope. On the final day, day 30, we held a celebration at the town square. There was music, laughter, homemade food, and a giant board where people wrote their favorite moments from the challenge. Looking around at the sea of smiling faces, neighbors, friends, strangers turned companions, I felt a warmth in my chest I couldn't describe. When it was my turn to speak, I stood on the small stage and looked at the crowd. I started this challenge because I needed something to hold on to. But all of you turned it into something so much bigger than me. You've shown me what community, kindness, and hope really look like. Thank you for joining me. The applause was overwhelming, but what stayed with me most wasn't the sound, it was the feeling. The feeling that together, we had created something lasting. That night, as I sat on my porch watching the stars, I thought about what was next. The 30-day challenge had ended, but none of us wanted it to truly stop. And maybe that was the lesson. Positivity isn't a challenge to complete, it's a way of living. From that day forward, Maplewood wasn't just the quiet town I grew up in. It was a place alive with kindness, connection, and hope. And to think, it all began with a simple invitation. Will you join me?